Wow. Hi, everyone. My heart's just beating seeing those clips and that song. I was like, oh my God, yeah, like the expansion of the heart is everything. And when he went for it and went towards the light and the lightning just dissolved into the light with him, I was just like, this is what levels of mind is about. And even when they were talking to each other, like holding hands, saying each other's thoughts. That's my experience in these levels of mind. We're just saying the thoughts that we kind of already know, but let's just say them all, and hopefully we hold hands together long enough for the truth to come out. Like when she says to him, "I don't know how to look at you in form, but you might be the most beautiful person I've ever seen." Yeah, and I thought even the the theme for the weekend before the fall, I am like he just completely demonstrated that. Like before the separation, this is who we are. And so yeah, I'm so happy to see all of you here tonight. I'm really excited. It feels a bit like I'm in a I don't know how, like I keep having the image of like I'm in a Daytona racetrack. Not that we're going to go quick, but there's like so much the spirit wants to share tonight. And I'm going to watch from the car how this is all going to go. We got quite a night, and I see a few people here like I've never seen before. Casey, I see you. Hi. And Frank, I think I've seen you guys have submitted levels of mind, and hopefully the heart answers most of them tonight. And definitely tomorrow night, David and Kirsten are going to answer your questions in a deeper way, but we'll cover because everybody's questions, really everybody's answer. So, or whatever you ask, the answer that comes through is really for everybody. But tonight we're going to start with Tanya Villegas. And hi, Tanya. So I'll read out her form and then we'll get into it after I set it up a bit here. So Tanya wrote, when I think about my house is neither selling nor renting, and I can no longer tolerate, well, maybe before I even read her A, I'll just quickly remind anybody that's new here. Levels of Mind is basically a worksheet that allows you to write out the situation as you perceive it, get in touch with your feelings, who you feel is to blame for the situation, and what belief underneath that seems to cause the whole thing. So we're always trying to get as low as we can get. We're doing this from the bottom up. We're trying to get down to the bottom of our desire. Because you're either desiring the separation or you're desiring the miracle. And once you desire for the belief to be released, you're actually desiring for the miracle. And we have a website called levelsofmind.com. And if you put a Jason in front of that, jason.levelsofmind.com, you can fill out a form. And we put it out far and wide this week. And we got so many responses. It was a little bit overwhelming. It was it was a full-time job. Reading them all and putting a lot of care, deciding which ones could be for tonight and which ones will email you back, which ones are turned into a Q&A, and which ones you need to look at a little bit longer, try again, and then we can go deeper with it. So, so we've chosen two for tonight. So Tanya's again is that my house is neither selling nor renting, and I can no longer tolerate the barking of my neighbor's dog, which has shattered my nervous system because the dog barks all day long. I feel trapped, powerless, and afraid all the time, invaded, and with my territory and peace lost. Because I think that my neighbors are to blame. And I'm afraid that the barking will continue and that I won't be able to leave the house where I currently live. These thoughts and feelings prove I'm right, that I feel that I have no right to anything good in my life and that I don't even have the right to be happy. I experience right now the sensation that I don't even deserve it. What I wanted and expected is for my house to be sold or rented so that I can finally regain my peace and move to a quiet and harmonious new place, completely free from the disturbance of the barking. So maybe what I can do is I'll pull this up. Yeah, Tanya, we can pull you on here. I want to ask you a couple questions. So in this situation, you've been trying to sell your house for quite a while?
No, like about maybe 4 months.
And then, and it hasn't sold or rented.
No, yeah. After that time, I was trying to rent it because the house cannot be sold yet. So I am very.
And why do you think, what's your intuitive feeling as to why people are not even renting it?
I don't know. I'm well. The people say that maybe because it's a little um, expensive,
Okay.
and a few days ago, a couple came to see the house, and they said that they are very interested in renting the house, but I don't know. I mean, I have 1 year living with the dog barking all day long. So
That's perfect. Thank you. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to read, there's a section in the Instrument for Peace where it says, if you have any thoughts or lessons you learned about going through this, feel free to write them below. When I went into my mind, this was the deepest part for me. When I went into my mind to ask the Holy Spirit to allow the darkness to rise, the beliefs came forward. I experienced the feeling that perhaps I did something very bad for which I am being punished, or that my way of releasing guilt for having sinned is through suffering and sacrifice. And that is why I remain trapped in the house. So I want to go into that a little bit before we get into the specifics. So I looked up a section of the course called Sin versus Error. This morning, I spent about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, just praying on this section and what you just wrote there for our mind to go deeper into this idea. Paragraph 1. It is essential that error be not confused with sin. And it is this distinction that makes salvation possible. For error can be corrected and the wrong made right. Meaning a belief in a thought that is wrong, you can let that go. That's what the instrument piece is for. But sin, were it possible, would be irreversible. Something has actually happened. That's why the forgiveness of this world just does not work, because if it happened, you can't forgive it. And everybody tries their best, but it doesn't work. We have to come to a place where we can see that it never happened. The belief in sin is necessarily based on the firm conviction that minds, not bodies, can attack. And thus the mind is guilty and will forever so remain unless a mind, not part of it, can give it absolution. Sin calls for punishment as error for correction. And the belief that punishment is correction is clearly insane. So we practice that a lot with our cats when they scratch the furniture. We practice. Help, Holy Spirit. Do we want to let this couch go? Do we put up some plastic? Do we gently have them go outside? You know, how would you have us deal with this situation? Because we don't want to reinforce the idea that punishment is correction, which is what I grew up with. You know, the cat does that or the dog does something, you put their nose into the poop, bad dog, and then put them outside. That's correction as I knew it. But Jesus has a whole different idea of correction. Paragraph 2. Sin is not an error, for sin entails an arrogance, which the idea of error lacks. To sin would be to violate reality and to succeed. Okay, paragraph 3. The Son of God can be mistaken. He can deceive himself. You can believe things about yourself that are not true. You can believe that, but it doesn't make it true. He can even turn the power of his mind against himself, which everybody who does the levels of mind has turned the power of their mind against himself, and we're trying to make it right. But he cannot sin. There is nothing he can do that would really change his reality in any way, nor make him really guilty. That is what sin would do, for such is its purpose. Yet for all the wild insanity inherent in the whole idea of sin, it is impossible. For the wages of sin is death. That's in the Bible. But how can the immortal die? So Jesus takes the Bible and lifts it up. So paragraph 4, sentence 2. Purity is seen as arrogance, and the acceptance of the self as sinful is perceived as holiness. So what does that mean? Someone who is like, oh yeah, I did that, or I was bad in the past, or I'm so guilty, you know, and you like beat yourself with those things. Actually, most of the world says, wow, they're so humble, they're so holiness. And Jesus goes on to say, and it is this doctrine that replaces the reality of the Son of God as his Father created him and willed that he be forever. Is this humility? Or is it rather an attempt to take creation away from truth and keep it separate? Paragraph 5, sentence 1. Any attempt to reinterpret sin as error is always indefensible to the ego. So what you've done here is you've laid out what you think is at the core of this, that you're being punished, which is sin. Okay, that's the belief in sin. And he just said, any attempt to reinterpret sin as error is always indefensible to the ego. What we're going to do right now is we're going to flip it. And we're going to say, no, we're going to find the beliefs that are there, that the belief in sin is covering over and not allowing us to look at. That belief in sin, when we go with it and get a hook on it, it just keeps our mind so tied down. We don't actually get to see beliefs that want to rise up. So that's why I wanted to start this levels of mind with that. So do you feel ready now to actually see something that might be ready to be released and let that idea that you're guilty forever go? Okay. Because he said, I'll say it again, paragraph 7. There is no stone in all the ego's embattled citadel that is more heavily defended than the idea that sin is real. So this house going wrong is the punishment for a real sin. And look, the house is doing this. It's not selling, it's not renting. Of course, I must be guilty. You see? Stamp, 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 good, guilty, go on. That's the confusion of form and content. That's why David always talks about, you have to learn to see that. He does this better than me, but you have to learn to see that that there is no cause and effect in the world, that something outside you does not cause something else. Everything is an interpretation. So let's do it. So I'd like to introduce this idea now from from chapter 31. I didn't give this to my translators, so they're going to have to translate me. Trials are but lessons that you failed to learn, presented once again. So where you made a faulty choice before, this is the end of guilt to me, because a lot of times when we see something coming up again that is time to be faced, instead of facing it directly, we immediately go to guilt and say, I've been here before, I've failed, and we forget to face it exactly as it is. So we're going to have courage to go directly at it. Trials are but lessons that you failed to learn, presented once again. So where you made a faulty choice before, you now can make a better one, and thus escape all pain that what you chose before has brought to you. In every difficulty, all this... Okay. In every difficulty, all distress, and each perplexity, Christ calls to you. And gently says, my brother, my brother, choose again. He would not leave one source of pain unhealed, nor any image left to veil the truth. He would not leave you comfortless, alone in dreams of hell, but would release your mind from everything that hides his face from you. Okay, so how are we going to do that, you might say? Through prayer. So I talked with David briefly just about this a few days ago, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, I don't remember the title, but it's a great movie where this guy loses his wife, and he goes on this speaking tour and keeps teaching this phrase, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And I hated that saying growing up, because it was always, there's something bad, you got to make something good out of the bad, but it felt like duality. But the spirit underneath that, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, is, okay, this is what's being presented. Can we see the belief, and can we make something good from this? So we're going to do two things at once. We're going to go for the belief, and we're going to try to have this be used in a helpful way, this situation. So I'm going to ask you, in your life in the past months or years, when you have to choose between peace of mind or financial security, what do you choose more often than not?
The financial ones.
Okay, thank you. Beautiful. Okay, when you choose, this is going to be fun. Okay. When you have to choose between getting what you want in your business endeavors versus, prayer and peace of mind and asking Jesus to tell you what would serve the whole, what do you choose?
The second one.
Okay. So now you're in a position where the house has shattered your nervous system. Seemingly, that's the strong belief. And you want, maybe in this moment, you want peace of mind over anything else, right? Well, do you?
Yeah.
Can you say that? It's so bad you want peace of mind over anything else?
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my, I'm sorry. It's just that it's raining here. And I just heard thunder, like, oh, oh my God, sorry.
No, it's perfect.
It's
Thank
raining.
you,
This
Jesus.
is a huge storm here. So,
Amen.
oh my God. Yeah, I choose my peace over everything.
I'm gonna
I just want it back, Jason. I just
well, sometimes in life, when you have like consistently received opportunities to choose and you keep choosing, like what you said, the money or financial security or a business endeavor, sometimes it takes a big shift for you to convince yourself that you want peace of mind over top of these other things. Sometimes a tiny change is not going to cut it. And I'm actually going to bring on the lady at the very end, Joni, to actually to share about that, because she was in a very comfortable country, Holland, and she was complacent, she said, and comfortable, and had a lots of comfort and really needed to be shaken up. And she chose to live in Mexico. So she went for it. So she's going to share a few of her parables, and it's for everybody. It's not specifically for you, but she's an example. And my feeling is, in joining with some mighty companions, is that you are calling for a big expansion, and it's very likely that you're going to have to very quickly prioritize. I assume you want like a house in the country or something like that, probably now after this dog.
yeah, that's
Okay.
right. I really want to move from here. I don't like the city anymore.
So if Jesus is guiding this for your peace of mind and you have consistently chosen finances, I'm feeling that at this time you're probably going to have to drop the price of your house significantly, and or the rental, because Jesus is saying there's some kind of a lesson for you in prioritizing peace of mind over things of this world. Do you feel good when I say that, ready to do that, or we need to do a new instrument for peace?
Oh, this is a difficult one. I just want to be sure about if this is the right path to take, to sell or to rent, because sometimes I have doubts about it. I'm not pretty sure, because I say, if this is the right path to follow, why my house cannot be rented or sold,
Yeah.
But in the other side, I know perfectly well that I can the dog barking all day long is too much to me right now in this moment of my life. I cannot have peace in my own home, in my own house, and um, when I'm here, I feel fear all the time, and after that, when I hear this female dog barking, it's like a lot of anger rise, you know. And I'm right now. I'm just confused. I'm just trying to do the best, but
Okay, well, this is perfect. So the spirit has a plan for you because we just saw Powder. What happened when the thunder came for him? He heard thunder. What did he do? He ran towards it. He said, "This is the light." He ran for it. What happened with you with thunder? Ah, because the nervous system is so fried that even thunder now, it's like transferred from the dog to thunder. So we need something radical. So I'm going to call on, like we're in a game show, I'm going to call on a friend for some help. Where is my friend Huli? We're going to call Huli on. There she is. Hi, Huli.
Hi, Jason. Hi, Tanya.
So
hi, Julie.
I'll set this up for you, but Huli lives with us in community and has been taking many steps in her deepening. And basically, in order to free up some of her funds to even just pay for flights, make a reduced contribution to staying with us in the beginning, she had to make a decision with her business. She had spent all these years. Maybe I can hand this over to you, Julie. Now, maybe tell us what happened in your situation and what you had to do.
Yes, I had a business in Australia, and I invest a lot of time and energy, and part of my self-concept was so like into that business. So apparently it has a lot of meaning for me. But when I start my spiritual deepening journey, I got the guidance to leave it behind. So I went and I was passing through a lot of healing and intensity. So I kind of like pushed it away, and it was 3 years where the business was there and I didn't do anything because it was a lot of guilt coming up because it was with my partner at that time. So, and then when I came to the community and I faced that I had to kind of undone myself from that business because it was part of my self-concept. So I could see the resistance because it was a lot of thoughts and beliefs. First, a lot of guilt, and I didn't have the energy and the capacity to see it. And second one was a lot of unworthiness, but at the same time, it was the other belief that I had to fight for my worth. Like I had to have the right money because it was like I was putting my worth on that business or in the outcome. So when I started looking at it with my mighty companions in the community, I could see the avoidance of facing that and believing that I had to have the right deal and it has to be fair, but I didn't have the energy to deal with it. And also like the unworthiness actually to negotiate, it was very contradictory. Like the beliefs is like I had to fight and prove my innocence and I had to make a fair deal. And then the other side was like, I don't know if I can stand up for myself, if I have enough strength. And so it was so confusing. And then I put that into consideration and I give it to the spirit. What happened if I don't have the right money for like selling the business? So I could see a lot of, anger and a lot of past memories of being unfair treated by the world or abuses or like this fear of being taken advantage of. So, and eventually in one of the conversations and the prayers, there was this beautiful, because I I have this friend that he kind of checked the business, and he told me how much the business will cost. And then I tried to negotiate it with my ex-partner. And of course, it was a higher, much higher price, and he couldn't afford it. And then we were like a lot of time, like back and forward. All right, so this is my price, no, but this is too much for me. So what we're gonna do? And eventually, in that prayer meeting, Mighty Companion says, "What about if you just go like much lower?" And he offered that price to him. So immediately, I don't know, something clicked in my mind. It's like what I'm deciding from, like my peace of mind, or try to fight for my worthiness, or yeah, I don't know. It's like really try to get something from the world, and it's a lot of loss and gained beliefs, and I can see that it was more for the communication. And when I open up the conversation again with my ex-partner, he was offering me much lower price, but I could like negotiate it. It was so given by the spirit, because when I heard that amount in my mind, it's like, that feels right. That feels fair. Because my prayer was like, Spirit, I don't know what is fair. I don't, in this point, I don't know what is like the ideal deal for this. So it fully, when I give it to the spirit, it's like, you show me what is justice, what it means. I don't know. I'm not sure about it. So I don't want to coming from the past learning. And I was like, I really fully new in this situation, and you are just using me as a communication device. So I feel like when I open up the conversations with my ex-partner without feeling like someone is going to take advantage, or I was with my defenses up, it was more like from a scratch, and you tell me what you think. And when I said exactly the price, something happened, because he says, yes, that feels good. I'm happy to pay that. So, and since then, I could feel like a lot of release in my mind, because it was very unconscious that I was fighting for my worth, or my, yeah, I don't know, it was a lot of beliefs underneath. So, and a lot of intensity, and I could see when that released from my mind. So my mind was more clear, and yeah, and I could feel like definitely was one step to realize that, yeah, no, like my worth was established by God, not by an outcome, or even like the belief of weakness. Is like I had to stand or fight, or I had to prove my innocence, or I had to prove that I'm right, that I deserve the money, because I invest a lot of time, energy, and so because all my value was in that business as well, like as a self concept. So yeah, and I think that was the miracle, and the business could be done, and it was everything unfolds so easily, literally. And yeah, it's beautiful, because at the end it wasn't the money, because it was, and it's still a learning for me, but it's like putting like my security in what I think I built for myself, and I'm doubting that God can provide for me, or I'm putting the conditions. That was a big learning, and I'm still it's a learning. It's like, okay, so I need these things, or this type of security, so I'm gonna be stable, or secure in the world. So it's been a beautiful undoing.
Maybe Huli, you could even share, like, so you got that clear, right? The business thing, it's done, it's handled. You have one more thing to handle now with some land, but but did that free you up to? I think I know the answer, but I want you to say it. Did that free you up to go deep in your mind with other beliefs that needed to arise, that it was kind of in the way, and you needed to just quickly move on from that? Was that your experience?
Yes, definitely. And the thing that I also see in it is like, and I was sharing with Helena today as well. It's like I thought that because I let go everything, I didn't know what was the meaning of letting go, because it's not like in the physical, it's not in the form. So I think obviously it allowed me to release. And I didn't know that that was occupying energy in my mind. And I remember I was passing like through a lot of healing. And I remember Andy was saying, believe me, you will free up if you put your attention in selling the business. But in my mind was like, no, I'm passing through a lot of healing, so I need to do something else. It's like, literally, it's like, it's not in the form. I was questioning, it's not in the form because I already let go of that. But I was more focusing, it's like, I need to open more my mind, my thoughts. I need to be more in prayer. But I underestimate the guidance. It's like, no, the guidance is still in the business. But because for me, it was 3 years ago. So I was like, I let it go. I let it, the spirit handle it for me. And I can see that the spirit was showing me, no, this is the guidance. I showing you. It's just like the practical steps you need to sell the business. And then when I step in, like I took that step, the other question open up is, okay, I need to get the right money. So, and then I said, I don't know even what is fair. I don't know even if this truly that's the value or the cost for the business. So I literally needed to let go all of that. It's like I have no idea. So no
See the-
expectations, no
See, the
outcomes.
power of that, following that guidance, released so many other questions and beliefs that needed to come up. So this has nothing to do with a dog barking. This is what Jesus means when he says, your brother, your dog, your dog is your savior. It's because it's forcing you to look at just the first one where you're like, oh my God, I can't do a big reduction. Hopefully it's loosened a little bit, but there's a whole host of other things under there that need to come up and be released as you go in that direction. So can you resonate with this and relate to this?
Yeah, Jason. I don't know. Can I share something else?
Mm-hmm.
After I sent the email, I was in a deep praying, and something came up into the mind about the beliefs of this situation. Something else, apart from all the things that I wrote on the email. And I'm not pretty sure if this is related to all of this, but I could saw a lot of darkness in that in this possible belief, and I felt that the Holy Spirit showed me that I have a deep conflict with the abusive and mistreating image that I made of men. And I felt that maybe there is another way in all this situation. Maybe I am perceiving this abuse in this female dog because my neighbor is a man, and this female dog is all day long locked up, and she never comes out, and she's always I think that she's been abused. And
Well,
this came up yesterday.
yeah, a lot can be tied into that. Like even with Huli, as she's taking these steps, yeah, some very deep memories are coming up around abuse. Actually, I don't know her story, but most likely from men, from much younger, and yet it's so important that she keeps following the guidance, because as long as you want to project the error onto a cause in the world, as opposed to the abandonment and rejection that we believe is there with God, it will be an endless circle, and you could end up staying in that. But the value of this is, don't give up and go with the guidance, go with simplification, go with your heart to have a quiet place. You can't, Jesus says, if you're in a state of fear, you cannot hear my guidance. So you're useless to me in the period that you're in that fear. So you have to accept sometimes a radical shift to get yourself relaxed and peaceful, so you can then start listening again. And then you might be facing deeper beliefs of why you feel you have to survive and take care of yourself. Maybe it's you believe you're a woman, and I don't know. But all of those beliefs down there can start coming up, including around men. And you could even submit I'd love to hear how this all goes, and you submit another one with a deeper layer, and then we could do another levels of mind. But tonight I'd like to stay focused on this idea that sometimes a big shift is needed to do the loosening expansion, and see how you feel about that. Are you able to, in your heart, resonate with that and go in that direction? Or are you like, let me pray on it? Or where do you?
Yeah, of course, Jason. Thank you very much. And at the end, I have to. Well, this sharing of Julie was great, and I think that I'm going to pray about this, about the price of the house too, and I'm going to share this with my husband, because he's the one that is like, no, the house, the price of the house is this, no?
Yeah.
And I am projecting that on him. He's a man. So I talked with him. I talked with him before, and I said, okay, come on. Maybe we can look for another price. I mean, lower, no? But he's like, no, I'm going to lose a lot of money, the taxes, and and no, and if we move, it's going to be very, very expensive. And so, I at the end, I know perfectly well that this is mine. And maybe I'm perceiving this also like a loss, about our money, that maybe we are going to lose money.
Yeah. But you'll gain everything. You'll gain the whole world. Oh, she froze. Is it just me she froze for, or is everybody else she's froze? Okay. Well, that's perfect. I feel like we hit it. So I'll just, you're back, Tanya. So that's a perfect place to end, though. So my suggestion would be, you pray about a real price, and there's a lot you're going to have to face with this husband, and being clear and direct. And, every one of us has to face this with our calling, that at some point we have to say, my calling is more important than anything in this world. And these relationships had better support that. Or again, what am I doing? So you can see that this is no small ask. This is a big deal, that you follow your heart and you go for a place in the country, get some peace of mind, get some quiet, and kind of regain control of your mind and in the direction of your thinking. So let us know how it goes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jason. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, we never know how these are going to go, because there's probably a whole story under there. And it's always helpful when you do your levels of mind, if you write out your situation in a way that helps us go deeper with them. So we're going to take a little break with that, and then we're going to play a song that Helena actually made. She sent it to us, or me and a few of us, 2 days ago. And it's about keeping our heart wide open, just like Powder did when he ran towards the thunder. That has to be our priority. We will do absolutely anything to keep our heart open. So it's a perfect song for what we just talked about and a bridge into the next levels of mind.
I don't need to know tomorrow. I don't need to understand. Every path I've tried to follow softly disappears again. Every answer I was holding falls away into the sky, leaving only quiet breathing love that never asked me why. If you lead me, I will follow. If you whisper, I will hear. Take the future from my hands now. Meet me only here. Keep my heart open, wider than the sea. No one to possess, nothing owed to me. Only love unfolding, only you to see. Keep my heart open until love is all of me. Every face becomes a window, an open doorway to your love. Not to capture, not to label, only here to wake me up. If a seed is growing somewhere you alone know what will bloom, I will rest inside the silence, making space for what is true. I don't need a destination, I don't need to see the end. Every moment is the answer if I let you lead again. Keep my heart open, wider than the sea. Nothing left to cling to, nothing left to be. Only love unfolding, flowing endlessly. Keep my heart open until love is all I see. Beyond names, beyond form, only love. Beyond time, beyond stores, only love. Beyond fear, beyond longing, only love. Open me, open me. Open me. Keep my heart open. That's my
God, isn't that song beautiful? Kirsten and I heard it together when Helena sent it, and we were crying listening to it. It's the most important thing in the world, and Jesus wants us to get to the place where we can literally second by second choose to keep that as the priority. And Levels of Mind is just meant to help get us in that direction. So we're gonna now go to Valeria, and I'll read hers out here. Hi, Valeria. So I'm going to read this out, and at some point we'll switch it over so that we can talk to each other as Valeria speaks Portuguese. She wrote, when I think about organizing in-person Course in Miracles study deepening meetings, so Course in Miracle gatherings, maybe events, whatever, I feel judgment, anger, anxiety, indignation, and abandonment, because I think that I'm to blame, Valeria, and I'm afraid that in the future I will feel I have to flatter and convince people of the importance of going more deeply into this practice. I'm going to put on gallery view for a second. Does anybody else feel like they have to convince people to go deeply with them along this journey? You can put your hand up. Regina, Tony. Yeah, Joni, we were talking about this a bit today. Okay, so this is a good one for everybody. These thoughts and feelings prove I'm right, that people are not fully committed. They want other things for their lives. They want other things for their lives, make other plans, and I end up suffering for nothing. And then she writes, it is I who do not want to go deeper, not them. So it's like you had the realization right there. What I wanted and expected is to look at myself instead of looking at others and let go of my fears of fully surrendering to Jesus's plan, and let go of the world the ego created and to which it still does, and to wherever I do not want to release my attachment. So her insights were, so I'll just say that these are levels of mind. These ones are great because you're actually, you're getting your own answers as you go deeper. So I'm really curious how we can take this deeper, because it's pretty deep to me already. So your insights are, while I was experiencing all these emotions because of the event we are organizing here in Brazil, I went into prayer and asked Jesus for help. Yeah, maybe we can, I've got a question before I keep reading. So maybe we can put Valeria into the translation room now.
Aqui no...
Hi, Valeria.
Olá, Valéria.
Oi, Jason.
Hi, Jay. Okay, so Valeria, you said that event. What event are you organizing there in Brazil?
Qual evento você está organizando aí no Brasil?
São encontros mensais com um grupo de estudo de Curso em Milagres.
It's monthly meetings with my group of A Course in Miracles.
So once a month you meet them for a few hours.
Então, uma vez por mês você encontra com eles por algumas horas.
Uma vez por mês é o presencial, a gente se encontra todas as semanas. E uma vez por mês a gente faz um encontro imersivo de aprofundamento.
So once a month we meet physically, presentially in the same place, but then weekly we meet online.
Okay. So,
Então,
while this was happening, I went into prayer and asked Jesus for help.
à tarde eu estava orando e pedi a ajuda de Jesus.
because I was feeling deeply distressed with attack thoughts.
Porque eu estava me sentindo muito estressada com esses pensamentos de ataque.
Then it came to me that I was projecting onto the group my own fear of going deeper.
E o que me veio foi que eu estava projetando no grupo o meu próprio medo de ir mais profundo,
Pushing it outside myself onto them.
empurrando para fora de mim mesmo em direção a eles.
That's when I did levels of mind.
Foi quando eu fiz os níveis da mente.
So, Valeria, you've already realized that it's about you wanting to go deeper.
Então, Valéria, você já percebeu que é sobre você querer ir mais profundo?
The only question I would ask
A única pergunta que eu faria
would be, are you getting signs and symbols to go deeper?
você está recebendo os sinais e símbolos para ir mais profundamente?
In a certain direction that you're afraid to take?
Em uma direção de que você está com medo de tomar?
Or how would you feel to go deeper with this levels of mind? Because you already realize that you're called to go deeper. So,
Ou como você sentiria de ir mais profundo nesses níveis da mente? Porque você já percebeu que é o seu chamado ir mais profundo. Então,
Me chamou a atenção a sessão com a Tânia e o depoimento da Julie.
So it called my attention here, the segment with Tanya and the sharing of Ruli,
Porque é como se eu tivesse desdobrando em mais camadas esse níveis da mente que eu pedi numa sessão.
because it's as if I'm unfolding even more layers of these levels of mind that I already did in a session with you.
Porque eu vejo que nesse lugar de facilitar os grupos tem um autoconceito muito forte.
Because I can honestly see that facilitating A Course in Miracles groups, there's actually a very strong self-concept in that.
E eu tomo uma responsabilidade muito grande para mim, com uma certa rigidez e cobrança comigo mesma.
And then I start to feel a lot of false responsibility and I start to become very strict and demanding of myself.
E, de alguma maneira, eu projeto isso no grupo, esperando que eles tenham o comprometimento da mesma forma que eu tenho.
And then I project that in the group and I expect that they have the same commitment than I have myself.
E quando isso não acontece por causa de cada um viver a sua própria vida, com a sua própria agenda, me gera muita frustração.
And when that doesn't happen, because everybody is living their own life with their own agenda, that causes a lot of frustration to me.
Como se só eu tivesse me esforçando, só eu tivesse buscando e interessada em ir mais fundo mesmo.
As if only I am searching, only I is making an effort, only I is interested in going deeper.
Isso me remeteu muito a esse lugar que eu fiquei durante quase 20 anos.
And this brought me back to this place where I stayed almost for 20 years.
No espaço que eu tinha de receber grupos e fazer vivências e retiros.
A retreat place in which I received for many years people and held retreats and gatherings.
E que eu me deparava sempre com esse esforço e com esse cansaço de estar carregando muitas responsabilidades para fazer esses eventos.
And then I would always face and get in touch with this heaviness, this sense of effort, because I was carrying a lot of responsibility to make these events happening.
E de alguma maneira eu por um lado eu quero soltar tudo e liberar tudo isso, mas eu me dei conta que eu acabo agarrando, continuo me agarrando.
Because in a way I do want to let all of this go, but I recognize at the same time that I still want to keep holding on to this.
E eu achei muito interessante quando a Julie compartilhou a questão do autoconceito.
And I thought it was very interesting when Huli shared about the part of the self-concept.
E também a respeito do valor que ela queria cobrar para o negócio dela.
and also the money that she wanted to charge for her business.
Associando o valor do negócio ao esforço e ao trabalho dela durante aquele tempo todo.
Associating the price of the business to her own effort and energy that she poured all these years into her business.
E eu me percebi nessa fala dela, porque percebi que eu estou fazendo a mesma coisa.
And I recognize myself in her sharing because I became aware that I'm doing the exact same thing.
Porque nós também temos esse espaço agora que está à venda já há algum tempo.
Because we have this big retreat center that is already for sale for a while now.
E foi muito bom ouvir a Tânia dizer que o obstáculo aparentemente era o esposo dela que definia o preço.
And it was so interesting to see Tanya saying that apparently the obstacle was her husband that was setting up a very high price.
Porque eu estou no mesmo lugar.
Because I'm in the same place.
Porque o meu ex-marido fala exatamente o que o marido dela fala.
Because my ex-husband is saying the exact same thing that Tanya's husband says.
Ele fala a respeito das taxas, dos impostos e tudo mais.
He talks about taxes and all that kind of stuff.
Então, eu fui ouvindo tudo isso como respostas de Jesus para mim.
So I was listening to all of that as being answers from Jesus to me.
E eu sei que o Espírito Santo usa tudo e usa todos nós
And I know the Holy Spirit uses everything and everyone
para ampliar nossa mente, para olhar por outros ângulos.
to expand our mind, to start to see things from different angles.
E acho que o que eu preciso agora era
And I feel
exatamente como, mas deixar tudo isso ir de uma forma que eu ainda não sei exatamente como.
and what I feel I need is to let all of this go, even though I don't know how.
Mm. Beautiful.
Bonito.
Thank you.
Obrigado.
My heart can go to the lightning again.
Meu coração pode ir para a luz novamente.
Just you saying that, I go to the lightning.
Só por você dizer isso, eu já vou para a luz.
So let me give a recap of our last year together.
Então, deixa eu fazer uma recapitulação do nosso último ano juntos.
So we first met on an instrument for peace in Mexico.
Nós nos encontramos em um instrumento para a paz no México.
And I never met you before.
Eu não havia te conhecido antes.
And you presented yourself as a poor Brazilian.
Você se apresentou como uma brasileira pobre.
But all that was underneath it
Mas tudo que estava por baixo disso
was actually, it was a mistaken perception.
era, na verdade, uma percepção equivocada.
And you realized that actually you have what you need, you know.
Você percebeu, na verdade, que você tem aquilo que você precisa.
And I was so happy. We were so happy together
Na verdade, nós ficamos tão felizes juntos.
that you immediately looked so rich to me.
Você imediatamente pareceu ser tão rica para mim.
Even money-wise, I was like, whoa.
Eu estava com bastante dinheiro e sabedoria.
You accepted the idea as well.
Você também aceitou essa ideia.
Because I think that was possibly motivating you to even keep the business going, to try to get money because of that self-concept of being poor.
Porque eu acho que isso estava motivando você a tentar conseguir mais dinheiro por causa desse autoconceito de ser pobre.
And I think you just were very happy. You've even invited David down to do a gathering in Brazil.
Eu acho que você ficou muito feliz, você até mesmo convidou o David para um encontro no Brasil.
And is that going to be at your center or a different place.
E vai ser no seu centro ou em um lugar diferente?
Eu falei com o Rafael que eu tenho medo disso.
Now, recently, I spoke with Raphael that I'm a little bit afraid of that.
De ficar mais apegada se o David for lá.
Because if David comes to my place, I feel I'll get really attached to it.
E eu falei aí que eu não vou conseguir vender nunca mais.
And then I said to Raphael, then I won't be able to sell any time because I'll be attached.
E eu falei, Rafael, acho que isso não é uma boa ideia. Logo agora que eu estou decidida a vender,
So I said recently, Raphael, I think that's not a very good idea now that I'm decided to sell.
se acontecer um evento desse, eu acho que eu vou até me mudar para lá depois disso.
I think if David comes, I will even change house and go live there.
E aí outras pessoas falaram, lá vai ser a comunidade do Living Miracles.
And then some people recently are saying like, yeah, that place is going to be the next place for Living Miracles community.
Uma unidade no Brasil. Aí eu falei, agora é que eu estou presa mesmo.
And so I felt really, okay, now I'm stuck to this place.
Então a minha mente quer soltar e essas ideias pegam de volta.
So in a way, my mind wants to let go of it, but then there's all these ideas that come.
E eu vejo que esse autoconceito vai se reforçando,
And I see that that self-concept is being reinforced
porque é um lugar muito bonito, é um lugar que eu aprendi a amar.
because it's actually a very beautiful place and a place I learned to love.
Porque lá nós tivemos muitas curas e muitos encontros bonitos de
Because we had a lot
expansão.
we had a lot of beautiful meetings there with a lot of expansion and healing.
Mas esse desfazer na minha mente ainda é um obstáculo para mim.
But that undoing in my mind, it's still an obstacle for me.
Eu sei que isso não está nos lugares, não está nas formas,
Because I know that it's not in the forms, it's not in the places.
Yeah, yeah. This is David. David loves going where there's a call for undoing the self-concept.
O David adora ir onde há um chamado para desfazer o autoconceito.
He's not really interested in the locations and the form and all. I mean, it's nice,
Ele não está interessado no local, na forma. Eu quero dizer, é legal.
but he'd way rather be joined with somebody in letting go of a belief than where that letting go happens.
Ele prefere estar unido com alguém e deixar que deixar ir aconteça.
So we'll let the Spirit have fun with how this is all going to play out.
Então vamos deixar que o Espírito Santo se divirta como tudo isso vai se desenrolar,
Because I don't know.
porque eu não sei.
But if we keep going with the journey,
Mas se nós continuarmos indo na nossa jornada,
then we did another levels of mind a few weeks or a month ago.
então nós fizemos um outro níveis da mente algumas semanas ou um mês atrás.
I forget what it was about, but it felt very deep.
Eu esqueci sobre o que era, mas foi muito profundo.
And now we're in this position where you are simultaneously facing different aspects of the self-concept.
E agora nós estamos nessa posição onde você está encarando diferentes aspectos simultaneamente do autoconceito.
A relationship that is out of alignment, perhaps, with what you want for the selling of the property.
Um relacionamento que não está em alinhamento com aquilo que você quer para a venda da propriedade.
So the relationship self-concept,
Então, o relacionamento e o autoconceito,
self-worth invested in property and money,
alto valor investido em propriedade e em dinheiro,
a teacher self-concept,
um autoconceito de professora.
and because Jesus is having fun with this whole session,
Jesus está se divertindo com toda essa sessão.
it might be something radical for you too.
E eu estou sofrendo, ele está se
Pode
divertindo
haver.
e eu estou sofrendo.
Pode haver algo radical aqui para você também.
Sim, o Jason está a dizer uma mudança radical para ti também, Valéria. Valeria is answering, oh my God, yeah, he's having fun, but I'm having a hard time here.
Okay. Well, I think that actually maybe I didn't know if Joni was going to relate to you directly.
Bom, na verdade, eu não sabia se a história da Johnny iria se relacionar com a sua diretamente,
But she's going to come on soon.
mas ela vai vir logo em breve.
But what Jesus wants for you now, Valeria, is
Mas o que Jesus quer para você agora, Valéria,
you're ready now to go deeper.
você está pronta agora para ir mais profundo.
And the prayer is really help me make it obvious, Jesus.
E a oração é: me ajuda a tornar isso óbvio, Jesus.
Those are a lot of self-concepts tied in together.
São vários autoconceitos unidos juntos.
So you need a very specific plan to take you out of them so you don't get trapped.
Você precisa de um plano muito específico para sair deles, para que você não fique aprisionado.
All of us that have spoken in Living Miracles,
Todos nós conversamos aqui na comunidade Living Miracles.
most of us get attached to a teacher concept.
A maioria de nós fica apegado a um autoconceito de professor.
And then soon as it rises us up and we get more entrenched in the ego,
E assim que ele é elevado, fica mais agarrado ao ego.
it gets pulled.
Ele é puxado.
I remember one time I was traveling with David and Francis and Kirsten in Europe.
Eu me lembro que eu estava viajando uma vez com o David, a Kirsten e a Frances na Europa.
And I thought 4 teachers, good speakers going on the road.
E eu pensei, 4 professores, grandes palestrantes na estrada.
So I went to speak
Então eu fui falar,
and sometimes it would flow.
e algumas vezes fluía.
And then other times I'd go to speak and David would, I don't know if it was conscious, probably not, but he would move the microphone away from me.
E outras vezes eu ia falar, e eu não sei se o David estava consciente ou não, mas ele movia o microfone para longe de mim.
I was like, what the hell?
Eu estava, que
Then
diabos.
I decided I must not to be speak. I'm just going to be quiet.
Eu decidi que eu não iria falar, só iria ficar quieto.
So next gathering, I just showed up and was just quiet with my eyes closed.
Então, no próximo encontro,
And he said, Dave,
eu
Jason, do
ia
you have
falar e eu
anything
só
to
fiquei
say?
quieto com meus olhos fechados. E ele disse, Jason, você tem algo a dizer?
And I was like, what?
E eu falava, "O quê?"
And okay, I'm a speaker.
Então, ok, agora eu sou palestrante.
Next gathering, I go to speak.
No próximo encontro eu fui falar,
The microphone disappears again.
o microfone desapareceu de novo.
It was washing away the self-concept of a speaker.
Estava lavando ali o autoconceito do palestrante.
And that's more important than letting the words come out without a good attitude.
Isso é mais importante do que deixar as palavras virem sem uma boa atitude.
So when it's time to go deeper, you got to go deeper.
Então, quando é a hora de ir mais profundo, você tem que ir mais profundo.
So I think you got most of your answers from this conversation and from Tanya already.
Então, acho que você já teve a maioria das suas respostas nessa conversa e também com a Tânia.
And just you can take that to prayer now.
Você pode levar isso para a oração agora.
Do you have any last thoughts before I bring on someone who has also taken some radical steps? Or...
Você tem alguns outros pensamentos antes que eu traga alguém que também deu esses passos radicais?
Or we can just leave it in a prayer if you have nothing. So.
Me
Podemos
vem
deixar em uma oração se você não tiver nada.
é uma sensação de estar num lugar novo que eu gostaria de estar.
There's this sensation that I would like to be in a new place where I would like to be there, where I would feel good,
Como se eu quisesse ser guiada
as if I want to be guided
e confiar.
and trust.
Beautiful. You couldn't have set up my next guest any better. Thank you.
Bonito, você já trouxe o conselho, a apresentação aí para minha próxima convidada. Não poderia ter sido melhor. Obrigado.
Thank you, Valeria.
Obrigado, Valéria.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let's bring Joni on. We'll let her unmute herself. Once they, oh, there you are. Hi, Joni.
Hi. Oh my gosh. This was totally for me, Jason. This whole session with both of the ladies. Oh my gosh, I can relate to so much. For me, it really feels that my next step is more difficult than coming from the Netherlands to Mexico. But yeah, we will see how it goes.
Yeah, well, David's just, maybe I'll set you up a bit. David's been really, when Joya did a Levels of Mind a few weeks ago or whenever, he talked about you. And then, with Taddy is actually looking at her next steps. And now Valeria is looking at next steps, and even Tanya just looking at next steps. He just kept mentioning your name. Because maybe I could even give a little context for everybody. We just had a big community meeting about a week ago, and just were really praying because we were getting so many people saying, "Hey, can I come?" or "How can I live close?" or "Do I do this?" And we had this program called Devotional Stays that we officially closed. I don't know, 2 years ago, but it wasn't a hard close. We actually still had a lot of devotional stays here, people that didn't fit into the category of a resident, which has its criteria to be a resident, meaning this is your life's calling. And we were still working with devotional stays, and we were just in a big prayer. Do we go all in and commit fully to devotional stays, or do we say no, we just want to be residents and remote volunteers? Because it takes an enormous amount of energy, which is always for us, but it takes an enormous amount of energy to unwind the mind from specific steps and come in and come closer. And it really is all in or all out, because we're one mind in the community. And if you have a few people doing it, and then they're talking about the people with others, and other people have to listen. After a few years or 20 years of that, you start to realize, no, we all got to be all in or whatever. So it was quite a surprise to most of us. We decided, no, we just want to be residents and remote volunteers. So we have closed the devotional stay program. And those that are here on it, we're honoring the commitments and allowing them to either be a resident in some cases, or they don't feel they're ready and they're in guidance for their next steps. Because Jesus has a plan for everybody. This is not the only place that you can wake up to. Like we just said, it's not about place, it's about heart. And you're in a beautiful example of that. It isn't about place. It's about following the steps that are following the steps that are given. And David even said to me today, he's just really impressed with how you, by yourself, maybe with that one letter you wrote just around Mexico, but basically by yourself, not relying on people, you and the Holy Spirit and Jesus just took all of these steps of deepening. And even when I called you today, you were watching a movie, Mahalia Jackson, with David's commentary, and told me that movies with commentary are your pathway. And you were just crying and just seeing her faith. And even for yourself, wow, I'm in the stepping stones to have the faith that Mahalia had. But actually, tonight, I just thought you could share a few examples of your miracles, of the faith that you have taken, because you're a demonstration for many. Like Chris, another example is Chris. He's on here now. He came and lived with us for a bit. He left. He's been making songs and collaborating, and he got our whole community basically into came over and did a session on ChatGPT and this program Suno, which I don't think we'd heard of at the time, and how to make music. And look where that has just exploded into. And there's somebody else, that Craig Martin, David met him in Prague. And then he came over, and now he teaches ecstatic dance at Villa d'Angel, which is another community that I had a lot of talks with the owners in the very beginning before they even moved down to Mexico, and they started that center. And you have come and lived with us in co-living, and you've lived at Villa d'Angel, but maybe you could tell us a bit about what it took for you to come from Holland to Mexico, and why you wanted to do that.
Maybe you can move a bit close to your computer, Joni, too, so we can hear you better.
Okay. Is this better?
Maybe. Yeah. Try.
Just speak loud.
Okay. Is this loud enough?
Perfect.
Yeah? Okay.
Is that good, Pete? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if how it goes.
It's perfect. Just go for it.
Okay. Well, yeah, how did I came? I think when David came on YouTube, that's how I met him, from YouTube. And I just was, I don't know, I don't think that I was very long in the Course in Miracles at that time, but he always touched me. And then I saw all those videos about Mexico, and I immediately felt, wow, I think I want to go to Mexico. And okay, in my parable, I was born in South America, in Suriname. So it relates a kind of to Mexico, with the colored houses, the birds, the flowers. So for me, it was not really I never been in Mexico, but it's not a big difference, the tropical of Suriname and here in Mexico. And so that feeling was there. So I needed to work with, okay, is it because I lived there, I was born there, I lived there for so many years, that's the reason? But then it felt away, and then slowly I started also to do the Sunday sessions, and then you guys started with the weekends, and I started to join with the weekends sessions. And yeah, and then it got stronger and stronger, but then the body got sick suddenly, and I was for 7 months in a clinic, and I came out with a walker. And I thought, well, okay, now Mexico is gone for me, because with a walker going to Mexico, I don't think that that's a good idea with a couple stones. But yeah, then suddenly I saw the movie Under the Tuscan Sun, and then suddenly it came back so strongly about, yeah, I think this is my next step. And then I was praying, make it obvious for me. Is it really? Because everyone around me was saying, you are crazy, going to Mexico, you have no ID, and all the drugs and health and blah, blah, blah. But I could see later that I was not ready yet at that moment, 100% ready. I was doubting too. But then it was growing and growing, and I saw the symbols. And David came in a dream to me, telling me literally, Joni, come to Mexico. And so, yeah, and then I sent it an email, and we talked about it. And then he told me, because I felt, let me wait until I have my pension. It was still, I think, half a year or something, or shorter. And he said, yeah, just wait for that, and then come. And I never left. I needed to work a lot with the fear, because my visa was done. You get a tourist visa for half a year, and that was done. And you can't get a new one only when you go out of Mexico. But I never felt guidance to do that. So every year I asked for, again, okay, can I get a temporary? And then finally last year in January, I got my 4 years temporary. So, but I needed to let go a lot of fear. The fear, the police will pick me up, put me in jail, that kind of stuff. But yeah, and everything, when I decided, when I really felt strongly, okay, it is my next step, leaving the Netherlands fully, not a plan B, what I first wanted. No, just leave everything, sell your stuff. I had a rental, so that was easy. Sell your stuff, give it away, and go. And if it doesn't work out, my son said, what if it doesn't work out? Yeah, then I come back and I will see what happens. So, and yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, you told me that you would say to yourself, what's the worst that can happen? When the fear would start to block you, you'd say, what's the worst can happen?
Yeah.
And nothing would come. So you would just go for it.
Yeah, and that's for my next step. What is the worst what can happen? Yeah, okay, perhaps I can't manage to pay independent living. I don't know. I never spent that much money living somewhere else because the body is almost half blind. That's the reason that I felt there was a guidance that I really felt, I think this is better for me. Then I don't have to think about shopping anymore. I don't need to do a garden anymore. You know, I still have.
Maybe I could explain to people what you're saying. So she, Joni, was losing the sight in one of her eyes. And when that was happening, she said, well, the Bible and the Course do say, let thine eye be single.
I know.
so she's not treating the body going down as anything but in purpose. But her latest step that she now has to take she feels guided to take is that she's been living down there. She has had all these friends, but more and more and more of the friends that she has want things from the world, and she doesn't. She only wants to be around people that don't want things that they want to go to the beach or whatever, and she doesn't. But because of the body's going down, she's feeling guided to go to like an elderly care center and take that step. And there was some fear, but yeah, maybe you want to continue.
Yeah, and I really can see now with the session, it became so clear for me because after I was married for 30 years and we divorced, and then I needed to go on welfare because I was too old for the job, and I didn't know to work with computers and that kind of stuff. And I was also I couldn't do physically work. That was too much for me. So they said, just do some volunteer work, you get welfare. And welfare is low, but it's enough. I had no problems with it. And I can see spending that much money in an independent living, because this last more than 5 years, I have a good pension. So I always have money over. I can help people, my mighty companions. I give donations here and there and everywhere. And then I go to independent living. I can't do that anymore. It's not a lot that I can have left over. And that is freaking me out. I can see there is fear that, the fear of not managing and not trust enough that it is the guidance. Can I trust the guidance, because it was guided and I could feel that the place. So.
And what did Jesus tell you you'll be doing when you're there?
For me, it feels like I asked David so many times, okay, what is the reason that I'm in Mexico? I always thought I'm going to do something important because I was always a housewife, you know. And he said, you just shine your light. And I have a feeling that is meant to be. Just extend the love. It's just for that. Give them a hug, you know, because it is partly independent and partly dependent. So there are some people who are dependent, you know, they need care. But I live in a little, I'm gonna live in a little casita what is independent, but everything is taken care of. I don't need to cook, I don't need to shop, you know, I don't need to do the garden anymore, I don't need to clean, I don't need to clean my clothes. Everything is inclusive. And I feel yeah, it's really letting go the personality. That is my feeling. Letting go the personality, letting go my preference about eating, because now I can decide whatever I want to eat. When you live in that kind of place, you eat what they give you, you know. So that's also a huge step.
Yeah.
So I can see that. Yes.
See, you're a good example, because you told me earlier, you said, I could live a comfortable life and live in all these different places and have extra money, or I can basically let my money go over, like give it over, go to a place where I'm extending, and it's another opportunity to undo preferences, because this it's like sparking me. When you came from Holland to here, you said that it was so good because you were so comfortable and had so much judgments and control.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And the Mexican way, so everyone knows she lives in the same town that we live in down in Mexico. You did all this undoing, and David kept telling you, it's always your lesson. You would hear that in your mind.
Yeah.
And now you had all the people, you see that you don't want anything from the world. Now Jesus is guiding you there, only to expand again and let go of, like, you're using your money to let go of preferences. This is exciting. I hope everybody hears this.
Yeah, I really saw that with this session. I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is totally for me. This whole session is really letting go the money, really letting go, everything, and the personality. Yeah. And that's the really going deeper, because that is my prayer. I wanted to go deeper, but I had no clue how. And then this happened with the eye. I never expected it, and this was never in my, how do you say that? In my thought that I ever would live in that way. Oh my gosh, no, totally not. But yeah.
And I asked you earlier about Mighty Companions, like, do you have more? And you didn't say explicitly that you had more, but what happened is when you got this place, people come and go, like Ricky, Homo, and you end up hosting a lot of Course in Miracles traveling, people, that because your mind is free and clear, you're like, you're being used in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and that makes it also a little bit difficult, that I'm thinking, okay, do I need to stay in this house? So I'm available for other people, but there are no other people, so I need to follow the guidance. That's it. You know, it's really about the guidance. And I was really praying, okay, make it obvious. And when this lady, Bridget Thomas, she lives in a nursing space, and she was talking about that, I felt such a strong spark in my heart. Yeah, I was thinking, I can shine my light in that place if you live that way.
Is she the one in London or England?
Yeah.
This is crazy. David just told me about her today. He said that she was really devoted with Helena, who lived with us a while back, and got all these houses and places for the community up there. And then she went back to London at some point, and people were telling her, you wasted your life going to the Course in Miracles and all this stuff. And she just spoke from the Spirit and Jesus and said, do you know the undoing I've gone through and giving everything over to just letting go of preferences and judgment? She was just beaming. And now she's in the same position that you're going to.
Yeah. So, and the funny thing is, because that's a synchronicity, first I shared it with Andrea, and then she was helping this lady because she moved back to the US, and she said, Joni, I have something for you. And that was a map with different nursing spaces here in Mexico. That was the first thing what she gave to me to already, and I was thinking, Oh, okay. And then she said, do you know Kristen? She lived also in the villa. It's not our Kristen, seemingly. It's another Kristen. And she took the cat from the villa with her. And she moved to La Floresta in an independent living. And we went there to visit her. And that was really nice. For me, it was the cat, because it was my cat when I was living in the villa. So it was nice to see the cat again. And I thought, when we left, I thought, yeah, I think I can do that. But I also remember when I was in connection with Spirit, because I could see there was a lot of resistance, and I will not say it's totally gone yet, but Spirit told me at that moment, when it was just starting, that is my next step. He said, Joni, I'm not pushing you. You don't need to go now. Just take your time. And that is what I'm doing. I'm just taking my time. So I will see, the realtor will let me know when the casita is ready. They are renovating the place. And yeah, it's belief and trust that everything is taken care of. And I'm still working with that.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Joni. Thanks for sharing all this with us, and your attitude. Just that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Yeah. Do you feel complete with that?
Oh,
yeah.
That's okay.
Thank you. Yeah, they work together.
Yeah, it worked totally together.
Because you were saying to me that, you didn't want to have to try to convince anybody anymore, and you want to go deeper.
Yeah.
And it's through this guidance. And yeah, maybe I could tell everybody too that Colin Dang actually was living with us. He just yesterday is now renting a house nearby where a number of, like, Joni lives, and he's got space for people that want to just live with other devoted course students. So there is opportunities down there. But so yeah, well, thank you, everybody. That's I like to leave it at 2 hours max. So that was quite a session, the way the Spirit orchestrated everything. So yeah, I love the faces coming on. Terry made it. And thank you to Huli and Joni and Valeria and Tanya for taking a risk, and look forward to you in another Levels of Mind session and the rest of the weekend.